Hey guys, Mark's on his way over. What's wrong?
None.
Is it doing something weird? Mark won't peel himself away from the cryptocurrency markets right now. Yeah.
Hello.
Hello guys, how's everyone doing?
Oh,
It's hump day.
it is.
We're on the downhill slope to the weekend, and this is like my favorite part of the week. I don't know anybody that loves the first part of the week, unless you like love your job, in which case, like, good for you, but I'm just not there with you.
Definitely.
Yeah, we're definitely not to the point where we're like, yay, it's Monday and I get to go to work. We're like, oh, here we go. Is it Friday yet? So hello, Miss Margie. How are you doing today? How's everything going in your neck of the woods? Is it warm there yet? Even though it's not technically warm here yet either.
That's pretty warm.
Well, today. But our frost dates have been so wrong. We've been getting a lot of hard frosts, and our last frost date was supposed to be Sunday. So yeah, nothing's really got planted outside of like the cold hardy plant starts. I need to start hardening off tomatoes and stuff. I'm just so far behind. I thought we had a really good hold on everything, and then it's just, I don't know what it is. It's just like everything's kind of sneaking up on us, and it's putting me like in a frantic headspace where like we come home and I'm frantic, or I'm like, we need to get all this stuff done, or we need to be doing things, and my body is telling me like, you can't, you have got to rest. But which is kind of why I've got like this. Do you even know what the life's titled?
Mm-mm.
No, it's Self-Sufficiency versus Self-Care. So I'm going to kind of wait to get into it. I'm not a psychologist or anything, but I just kind of like wanted to share like some of the thoughts that I had about it in the last couple of weeks, because it's been kind of tough.
Yeah.
Like, I won't lie, like it's been super, super tough on our end, and just not for like any terrible reasons. It's just spring comes and then we're being bombarded with just everything. Everything. How do you feel about it?
Yeah, it feels like it right now, for sure.
Yeah, our bees are keeping us on our toes. Kidding season is keeping us on our toes. And like, just to give you guys kind of like some perspective, we caught the video today about our blackberry, or the BB hive, which I didn't even go over that in the video. That's what we named it. That was 2 weeks ago. Like, we are 2 weeks in the past, and I've got so much filmed that editing is kind of tough right now. So that's why you guys may be seeing like 1 or 2 videos a week versus like the normal 3 long featured videos, because it's just, I cannot find the time to shoot, maintain everything, edit, get it, and just follow through. So yeah, it's been so crazy. Look at everybody coming in. Hi guys. I don't want to start with like low energy, because like today was like a really good day, and it was a good day. It was a really, really good day for a lot of things. I see Chrissy from Along the Rivers here. Evelyn's here. Brigitte is here. Darren's here. Rebel Canners. Old Reading Farm. Chris's Clever Craft. Oh my gosh. Welcome. We are happy to see you guys. I was really looking forward to our live, because we didn't get to go live last week because we had a ball game. That's probably another reason why we're really tired. Softball has kicked in, and maybe running back can be a little tiring. Because then we come home and we're barely like taking care of ourselves. We can't hardly sit down for a dinner. Constantly bringing in like fast food, which is not good for us. So I'm attributing some of that to like where I'm at, like just feeling lethargic all the time. Haas is here. Yeah, what the heck, Haas? Hi, how are you? Chris's Clever Craft is doing the best not to feel overwhelmed. It is with spring, because I don't feel like this in the summer. It's just like that mad rush to get things caught up and in the ground, and we're kidding, and it's swarm season. It's been unbelievably crazy. I don't think we've had a spring this busy in a long time.
No.
Like a really long time. So, and then we've been doing YouTube for about a year. It was a year in January. So like a year in a third. 4 months. Yeah. And it's just something new on top of it with us being this busy. Because really, when I think about it, like this time last year, we were getting comfortable in lockdown. So like I was home on my lunches and breaks. I could do like a lot of the stuff that I'm struggling to balance now on those breaks. And we didn't have like extracurriculars, because let's just be honest, guys, it wasn't happening. Yep. I'm going to bring it down just a little bit. So what's everybody been up to this week? I know some of us have reached our frost-free dates. Some of us have not, and some of us are just trying to hang in there. What we got here?
No, got quite a bit going on.
We're kind of close to our 4,000 hours. Not too close.
No.
We're coming up on 3,000. But like I've noticed, like the growth that we're experiencing right now, not so much like in subscriber count, because like once I reached 1,000, I kind of stopped caring about the number.
Yeah.
And I started like, okay, now I want to see like growth. I want to see views go up, and we have been seeing a lot more views going up. Hello, Michelle. How are you? How's everything going on your farm? Now, you guys were talking about showing pigs last week, and I've now wanted to go to 2 different shows and participate, and I can't. Our truck's been down. It's just been like a series of unfortunate events. Because I've actually got some goats right now that I'm like, I really want to take them into the ring because I feel like they're competitive. But then again, I might go and be like, oh, my goats suck, but I still love them.
Yeah.
May 15th was the estimated last frost, so you've still got a couple days. You still have a couple days. Ours was supposed to be Sunday. And it frosted that night. I was like, are you kidding me? So like everything's still under grow lights, and I feel like I've neglected my seed starts this year, because last year, like I on lunch would be taking them out to harden them off, or I would be transplanting them. This year it's like we're using the soil blocks, which is fantastic. I really like them. They are making it super easy to transplant into the garden, but it's just I can't balance things right now, and I'm not used to that. You can ask him. Like I will set a schedule and I will stick to it, and I'll be just fine. But here lately, it's just I almost can't.
Yeah. Yep. So noon, not too cool, just freaking busy. I'm trying to watch every day to watch 2 videos to help everyone, but I work 40-hour week as well as
Isn't it tough, Brigitte?
Yeah.
I'm telling you, like I told him and really the only way that I'm getting any videos edited is like on my breaks and my lunch at work. Like I am like, I've got my iPad, which I'm very lucky. I do a lot of my editing on my iPad. So like I'm not confined to a desktop with my editing software. I can bring it with me wherever I go as long as there's Wi-Fi. So that's literally the only time like I'm really getting to edit, because like we're milking goats, we've got new babies on the ground. It's just I ask him, by the time I sit down at night, I'm like, I want to go to bed. I don't want to sit. I want to lay down. So what's Michelle got going on right there?
It says, I've been getting all my garden beds ready and working with the pigs, getting everything ready for farmers markets, which start this month.
Oh my gosh, can you believe that's here already? I feel like we were wishing for this time to get here where it got busy and we could get outside and do things. I feel like that it wasn't that long ago. We were really hoping for that weather. Now it's here. That's really good though, because I saw you had pictures on Facebook of your farm stand. Super cute. Super cute.
Yeah. I said, if they don't win, eat them.
They're dairy goats. Won't get very much meat off of them. Now, Joe, speaking of like the meat, so Joe did have livestock weigh-ins for 4-H last Friday. So like I'll have to apologize to Adrienne if she pops in here at all tonight. I didn't get to go to her live because we were in line with our trucks at the fairgrounds doing the livestock weigh-in. So her boar weather weighed in at 80 pounds. He's a chunker. He is getting very big, and I'm having to push her to like, hey, if that goat takes a notion by July where he'll probably be easy pushing 100 pounds, he's going to drag you all over the arena. You better be ready to control the goat. And then her dairy weather weighed in at 58. So they're both bigger goats and they'll be in the heavyweight classes. It'll just be crazy.
Yeah.
It's going to be crazy.
Evelyn said, I've been looking into buying a house and not pulling my hair out.
No, the housing market is volatile right now. Like, very crazy. I'm sorry, Evelyn, that you're going through that. I know that's got to be stressful. I keep waiting for a lot of things to kind of level out, but I don't think we're going to be seeing leveling out for a while. I think we're going to see some bottoming out on a lot of things. Because we're trying to find a new truck. We got our truck running yesterday with the help of his fantastic brother who made time to come over and work on the truck with Mark and give him an extra set of hands. We got it done. So now we're not so pushed to have a truck, but it was in our plans to purchase a new truck this year. And guys, the prices on newer used trucks, it is so bad. It is, at least here, it's really bad. You cannot find anything. They're wanting $30,000 for trucks with 80,000 miles on them, and they might not even be 4-wheel drive. It's like, we need to have this. So.
Darren said June 15th, last frost here, but making use of the greenhouse.
That's true.
Now.
I saw on your video today you had signs of spring. The pretty thumbnail with the hyacinths. One of my favorite spring flowers. Hello, Patty. Yoo-hoo.
Good to see you, Patty, tonight.
Good to see you, Patty. How are you doing? How is Oregon treating you right now? How's your weather? You seem like the last couple times I've talked to you guys have been warmer than us. But it was warm today. Like I was able to get out and move swarm catch number 2 into like their actual hive. So I'm giving you guys some heads ups as to what's coming video wise. But like I said, I'm 2 weeks behind from when things are being filmed to when I'm actually getting them edited and uploaded. But I moved them tonight and it was warm enough and they only scared me a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
But it's probably because of the nature of their catch that I am a little gun shy with this specific hive. But y'all get over that. I mean, you guys will see that in the video too as to why I'm gun shy. Or if you follow me on Facebook, you already know why I'm gun shy with this specific hive. They gave me a good reason to be gun shy. So.
Yep. Chris Clevercraft said, "Love your hat. I live in Colorado where we chase them out. Stupid laws."
Yeah.
Yep.
I remember Marky talking about it to me. Yeah, telling me like, "Oh well."
They found a new home, so they're all right.
They're fine.
Hello, Mama Burton. She's in the house tonight.
Hello, Mama Burton.
Margie said, "Oh, I forget to tell you, I got my water bottle and I love it.
Yay!
So I got the bag and water bottle. Still love them both."
I'm so glad to hear that, Margie. I'm so glad to hear that because I was a little worried when you said you had some issues with that before. Yeah. And I know I'd sent some to Emma over at Sunny's place, and she's got a mailbox robber. It's like taking the last 2 goodie bags I've sent her, so I gotta figure out what to do there. But big cows go. Yeah, pretty much. Yep. Yeah, Joe's gonna be drug all around that arena if she doesn't get out there soon. If she doesn't, and you know that how that goes, Michelle, working animals. She had like a time where she really wanted to get out there, and here lately, I think because of softball, she's just really worn down too. And I do not have the get up and go to be like, hey, we need to go out and walk animals. I'm like, I'm already milking all the dairy does. Mm-hmm. I can't do any more than I'm already doing.
Michelle said, "It's such a busy time of the year. Give yourself grace and take care of yourself." Yeah. It's so easy to forget. But
it is easy to forget because you have so many other things that kind of rely on you. And I know we need to be cutting ourselves some slack, but it just seems so hard to do it.
Yep. Haas said, "Ugh, buying a house is worst. I can't wait for this process to be done."
Yeah, so you're in the middle of purchasing a house. How is that coming along for you? Hello, Wolf's Head Forge and Farm. How are you, Kat? Are you doing well? I saw your 2 new goats. They were so cute. So cute. I'm just hoping for my buck to have thrown some females. Yeah, you guys don't even know about all of the kidding, some kidding that's been going on our farm. And the buck fairy is here to stay, I think, for these last 3 or 4 does. So
yep.
It is what it is.
Patty said, "I'm doing well. The weather is very nice, near 80, dry and sunny, more like summer than spring this week."
Oh, that sounds so wonderful. Could you send it our way, do you think? Maybe just like nudge it out here, be like, I've got a great place for you to go weather, and it's called Indiana.
And Michelle said, "I think of you every time I check my poppies." Patty.
Oh, yeah. Poppies never do good for me, like ever. But I don't think I start them at the right time either. They just don't, or they don't like my soil. I've tried and they pucked up and they never do anything. Yeah, you're getting there?
Yeah, that's what he said. Haas said, "It's coming. We are getting inspections this week."
Okay. Well, nice. Good. That's good that they're moving on to inspections.
Crazy
and stuff.
Market right now.
It really is. Apparently, we have to worry about gas and chicken shortages and everything else.
Yep. And Michelle said, "Oh yeah, they go through motivation waves. The kids will be all gung ho to work lambs, and it's like pulling teeth. They'll work out once they get to the fair."
Yeah. Yeah, that or they're going to be embarrassed. That's why I always tell her. And that is usually my main motivation for her. I'm like, do you want this goat to drag you around the arena in front of all those people? And usually the answer is no, and it motivates her to go out. Because especially because she's 11, she's starting to get to that point where embarrassment, especially public embarrassment, is a real motivator for her, which it's kind of good. It lets me get leverage on her sometimes to make sure that she's behaving.
Mm-hmm. Wolf said, "Thanks, girl. Another buck fairy. I'm so sorry." Yeah, it is hard this year.
It is killing me. Because I was really waiting for Pinky. And then when he called, what was that, Tuesday? Mm-hmm. Tuesday he called and he's like, "Pinky kidded." I'd gotten up like every 2 hours to check her, of course, all night. And she waited till I went to work It's just like their common plan right now. And he's like, she kidded. She only had one. I'm like, what? Like, she should have had multiple. She was huge. She's still huge.
Yeah.
Bumped her. There's nothing in there. He's like, do you even want to know what it is? I'm like, by the way you're talking, no, I don't. No, I don't, which is okay. There's nothing wrong with that. It's just you have years where it balances. This year is a heavy buckload.
Karen said I wanted to grow a backfield of poppies to make some opium, but but she said no. Really?
Brigitte, why not? Yeah. I mean, what could go wrong there?
Patty said, sow poppies in the snow that they will find where they need to go to grow.
We'll have to do that then. That's probably why, because I never sow them. Like, I'm pretty sure I'm just missing the mark when it comes to time when I'm sowing them. Hello, Emma. You do not need to apologize for being late. I'm just glad that you're here. I missed your face.
Yeah. Your tomato trellis was cool.
Yeah. Just did. It was super cool. Because I've always wanted to grow them on lines too like that. But then I was looking at your design. I'm like, this is so beautiful.
Yeah.
But because we're getting ready to move our garden in the fall, I'm like, I just got to hold off. Just got to hold off on some things. But it was beautiful. Very, very, very nice. Very inspired by it.
Yeah. Michelle said, still small, Patty, but they have sprouted, which is more than I've ever had happen before. It's finally warming up a bit. So
isn't that nice when you finally get something to sprout that you're like, usually I kill these?
Yeah, for sure.
Hello, where to begin, Homestead? How are you today? How is Kentucky? Because that's where you're at.
They said they so need this chat.
You need this chat.
I'll hop right
I need
in
this
here.
chat too. I need this chat too.
It's pretty busy tonight, which is awesome.
It has been, yeah, it's
good
been
to see everybody.
Yeah, we missed everybody last week. We really did. And trust me, we were freezing our rear ends off at a ball field because it has been cold.
Yeah,
it has been like really cold.
The nights of the games is always the coldest.
Yeah, or it's been raining, which Joe is a catcher. So, like, her first game as a catcher with rain was, what was that, like last Thursday?
Yeah.
I had to pull her aside. I'm like, you need to give your pitcher some grace because that ball is going to be slick. She's going to be slinging it everywhere. So you need to, like, get up in your stance. But I told myself I wasn't going to coach this year, but then I find it really hard when she's down, or I'm like,
yeah.
I know. I talked to his coach, and Mark's like, "Oh, she coach." He's like, "Well, you can help." I'm like, I don't handle parents well. Parents suck. I love the kids, and I love helping the kids, but I don't like parents.
Yeah.
He just laughed because, all coaches or anybody that's ever done anything with kids knows that usually it's not the kid that's a problem. It's usually the parents.
Yep. He said, "Oh, I need to go check out her trellis."
It's super cool. It is
out.
super, super cool. Mark was like, "Did you see your trellis?" I'm like, I saw the video. I haven't been able to watch it yet, but then I got to watch/listen at work.
She said it survived 3 nasty storms last year, and my tomatoes grew like crazy.
So, see, and there you go, tried and true. So you don't have to really worry about it. I hate when I put up new structures, and I'm like, I really hope that I reinforce this the way that I needed to.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. So I'm going to talk about something tonight that's kind of been laid on my heart, and it's just because of like what I'm going through here lately, and it's just like the common thing. Like, spring is really busy, and especially for us in this community, in this niche or niche, however you want to say it. Come on, guys, help me with my hooked on phonics moments while I'm going through this. But especially like when you're trying to be self-sufficient, or you're trying to make sure that you don't have to depend on a grocery store, or you don't have to worry about shortages, which has really been a driving factor for us here within the last 2 years, just kind of seeing things coming down the pipeline and saying we don't want to have to be beholden to that. It actually puts a lot of pressure on you. So self-sufficiency and self-care do not go hand in hand most of the time. Now, don't get me wrong, like my path to self-sufficiency and being on a homestead, sometimes pulling weeds or milking a goat or being there for a goat birth is self-care. Like, it is something that pulls me back down to the earth and draws me back in and connects me. But there are seasons of rest, and then there are seasons of where it just feels like you are on a dead run all the time, and there's no balance, and there's no rest, and there's no end in sight of the work to be done, which I think the end in sight is never in sight, because, I mean, there's always going to be something that needs to be done. And I think a lot of people get into this lifestyle thinking it'll be so rewarding, and they never really think about that hard part. Emma had a video out 2 weeks ago that was like, great, and it talked about like the dark side of homesteading, and it was more of like a social standpoint, and I have to agree with her there. And if you haven't watched that video, like, it was a fantastic video. Like, it was just super honest, super organic. Emma has a great way of talking through those points and it feeling genuine and not scripted. Because I'm pretty sure Emma doesn't do anything scripted. I mean, like, it's kind of crazy. But I think everybody gets into it thinking about the wholesome factors of it. And the additional dark side is that there literally is like no end in sight. And it's something that can really suck you in.
Mm-hmm.
And especially when people go into this lifestyle full on. I mean, I think on homesteading forums or anything, when you get like a new homesteader, they're like, well, what are some tips? And my tip is always like, you start small, baby steps. A garden and chickens is the first step. And then my next word of advice is always that what is it? Comparison is the thief of joy. Because you will, as you get into these communities or you get into like homesteading and you find other people that do things, like it's really easy for us, especially now that we're on social media, to look through forums and to look through pictures and to see all the good stuff everybody's putting in front of us and to really stop and be like, well, look at their garden, look how manicured it is, or their food, it seems like they always have a good harvest, their animals never get sick. And it's the rose glass that's put over this lifestyle. And you can compare yourself so much to the point where you take on more and more and you feel like you can't stop what you're doing because you're comparing to someone else and you're trying to measure up, when really like this lifestyle is really, it's a journey from beginning to end, and all of our journeys are going to look a little bit different. But I think when you compare to somebody, you lose the joy that's in self-sufficiency. And when you lose joy, like you're really not doing any self-care for yourself, especially around these times where we're trying to hurry up and get things in the ground, or you get that sudden frost date that just means nothing. You put everything in by the book, everything, Farmer's Almanac, all the stars have aligned, and then you get those 1 or 2 hard frosts where if you've started seeds and you got it out into your garden and things die, like you have to start all over. And that can be really crushing. That can be really, really crushing. And I think it's really important for us to stay grounded and to keep reality in the focus of what we're doing. Because I mean, even I will say, even like for our videos, there's a lot that gets edited out. I know all the creators in here can probably relate to that. There's a lot of stuff that you're just like, nobody cares to see this. And there's a lot of boring parts, and there's some parts where it's like, I don't want anybody to see me in this state. But I think it's really important for self-care purposes to allow people to see you in that state, because your self-care and admitting that you're not perfect, or that you're experiencing those moments, or you're having burnout or a moment of weakness, can encourage someone else that feeling is real, that is a reality, that death on the homestead is inevitable. Lost crops on the homestead are inevitable. Things just not going the right way, or being in the middle of a construction project and the economy just losing its ever-loving mind, where you're like, it's going to cost a fortune to finish this project. Like, and it's something we have to have done, or the truck is broke down and we have to have a vehicle to get feed or hay or to take it everywhere. And it is just a crushing feeling sometimes. I think a lot of people get that kind of mixed up. They see what it should be, and then when they get into it and they realize that there's still parts of it, just like at work. Like, you could love your job, but you're still going to have a bad day where you're like, why do I put myself through it? And I think here lately, for myself, well, I love the homestead. I love having all the animals. There have been some like real come to Jesus moments for me here, like in the last couple of weeks, which is why I've kind of pulled back a little bit on filming. It's not that I'm not giving you guys those experiences. It's just realizing that self-care is starting to slowly come up above self-sufficiency, where it's like, you can't be self-sufficient if you're not taking care of yourself. And if that means that you take a break from YouTube, take a break from YouTube, and don't feel bad about it, and don't apologize for feeling burnout. I found myself constantly, like at work, apologizing to people because like I'm not my chipper self, or I'm tired, or like they're telling jokes that usually would like crack me up, and I'm just like I don't have time for this. And especially for those of you that kind of have like those full-time jobs outside of homesteading, you have a full-time job and then you have another full-time job at home. And balancing that is crazy. And then you throw in kids, and they've got school functions, and then they've got extracurriculars, and you're trying to make sure that you instill in them the real lessons that are going on your homestead. And right now, I'm like, what am I teaching Joe? And I have to just keep telling myself, I'm teaching her that there are limits, and that when you reach them, you have to acknowledge them. Because I think when you acknowledge a limit, it allows yourself to give permission to yourself to kind of break through them and go through those barricades. And it's another season of growth. I feel like for us specifically, like we're getting ready to go through a huge season of growth in a lot of different ways. Not so much like YouTube or anything, but just like our general vision of what we have with our property, that it just makes some of those moments where it's not all rainbows and unicorns stand out even in a more harsh light. Like I love milking goats, but here lately it's been like, can you just stand still? Like I would be able to milk you out like this if you would just stand still. And then we've having some issues with like baby goats. They're healthy, but you have like that one off. So my kid crop this year has been amazingly healthy, but I've had two that have made me worry. One is completely out of the gray area where I'm like, I don't know what's going to go on. And I have one where I feel like he's starting to take a step in the right direction, but I could easily lose him. I could put in all this extra work and still lose him. And I think you have to know that you're going to put in all this extra work, and there's going to be a time where you just lose it. But for all of those times where you just lose it, I have all this other kid crop that is super healthy, probably the healthiest that I've ever had. And it's really easy to let yourself become unbalanced where you really visualize and focus on the bad part. You really focus on that one kid that is just not thriving, that no matter what you do, just does not seem to be wanting to come onto the healthy side. Mm-hmm. But it makes you lose track of like all these kids that are bouncing around out in the field that are completely healthy and they don't need any extra help. So, and if this means that you need to take a vacation, you can take a vacation. We have buku animals, guys. We have buku animals, and we still make sure that we take a vacation or get away at least one time a year. Because you do have to realize there's a world outside of the homestead, and it's okay to visit that and trust your animals or your garden or whatever it is that you're taking care of or hoping to thrive on your property, to hand it over to somebody else for like 4 or 5 days, just so that you can get away and refocus and rebalance. And I don't know, you have anything to add to this? I feel like I'm like droning on and on and on, but it's just been something that's kind of like, it's been right here, like right in my heart for like 2-3 weeks. And I know that I've seen a lot of people, especially like in our Facebook forums, where people like, what do you do when you just don't feel like doing it? Or what do you do when you're going through burnout? I'm like, I think the first thing that you should do is admit that you're going through a burnout and that you're going through a period of no motivation or that you don't want to film. We are not beholden to other people. If I don't want to film, I don't have to. If I want to push through it and keep filming, well, then that's what I'm going to do. But you shouldn't feel like you're beholden to anybody. Mm-hmm. And I know Old Redding at the very beginning, at the very top of this chat, like at 3:19 in the afternoon today, was like, and talk about how we can take vacations. Because I know that was a hot topic on one of our Facebook forums, is that someone had been talking about how they had automated all of their feed systems so that they could get away from their homestead and trust their animals to somebody else, but it not be like a huge burden. And they had gotten flack from that from one of their viewers. It's like, well, you just kind of signed up for that lifestyle. If you didn't want to have animals, then you know you're never getting away. And it was almost like someone was just like slapping him on the hand for being innovative to find balance. And I didn't comment on it because like I had a lot to say, because I feel like that's almost someone that's talking like outside of the community, where it's like balance is important. And if that means you automate your feed system so you can walk away and feel peace that your animals are going to be taken care of, and that the person taking care of them isn't going to be stressed, then you should do that. And we shouldn't slap each other down because you're not making videos right now, or you're burnout, or you're being innovative and you're actually jealous of their innovation, because that's kind of how I read that viewer for this specific person. We're not beholden to that. And I mean, we live our entire existence here as you do you, boo. That is like my entire viewpoint on a lot of things when it comes to homesteading, because I'm not going to do it the same as like Emma would do it. And Emma's not going to do it the same as like John and Kat over at Old Redding would do it. We're all going to do things a little bit differently. We might hijack ideas or borrow ideas and kind of morph it to where it works for us. And if it makes it easier for you and it helps you to maintain your self-care, then you should do it, and you shouldn't feel sorry or make excuses or apologize. I feel so bad seeing so many people apologize for being burnt out or feeling overwhelmed, because you don't owe anybody an apology. If anything, you need to apologize to yourself for letting yourself get to that point, because I feel like that's hitting a barrier and not acknowledging it's a barrier. Maybe you need to step back. It's like trying to break through it too soon. I don't know. That's just my piece for today. Mark, you got so quiet. Help me. Like, help me. Yeah. So I know, like, I've been letting chat go like off the wall, like gone. I'm really sorry. It's just, I don't know if that's for anybody, but like, I just felt like I needed to say that today because it's really been laid on my heart, you know.
Yeah. Haas said, my problem is my burnout has lasted almost 2 years. That's why I still try to do lots. I'm still connected to my channel.
And if that works for you, Haas, then do it that way. You know, I mean, I'm sitting on a powder horn that's technically a commission, and it has a deadline. But I found that most things that are artistic, which being a content creator is expressing artistically through video, what's going on in your life and kind of presenting it to somebody in a visually and aesthetically appealing way. But you aren't going to do your best work. Like, you have to want to do this. Like, you have to want to film or want to edit, or you're just not going to put your best foot forward. It's not going to be the best product that you can put forward. And I found that a lot, like in art, especially commission pieces, where I'm like, if you really want my best work, you'll be patient and you'll let me work. So I feel it's okay, and I enjoy your lives. I enjoy your lives.
Let's see. Kat said, I've started farm sitting this year.
That's good. I feel like that's lucrative.
Yeah, definitely.
I feel like that's lucrative because a lot of people are looking for people that they can trust so that they can get away from like their farms or their homesteads without feeling super guilty. You know?
And Chris's Clevercraft said, if you can automate this lifestyle, you've got mad skills.
Yeah, I had to go and watch this video because I'm like, I need some tips on this because my mom watches our farm when we're gone, and my mom is a very able-bodied person, but you know, age catches us all, and we all have days where we just don't feel like doing it. If I can make it easier for somebody, I'm gonna do it because I want it to be made easier for myself. Yeah.
Patty said, wow, how rude some people.
Well, you know, it's keyboard warriors. People will say a lot on this platform specifically, in Facebook and Reddit, that they would never dream to say to your face. And it's just something you have to get used to, you know?
Where to begin said, even a vacation to someone else's farm would be wonderful.
I know, right?
Darren said, yep, the more you can automate, so much the better. It gives you time for yourself and other stuff.
Well, and here's the way I look at it. Like, would the pioneers, if you'd have been like, here's an automatic water, do you think they'd been like, well, this is the lifestyle we've born into? No, they'd have been like, hot day. I have an automated water. I don't have to carry buckets anymore. Like, for someone to throw down innovation, it's like, oh, that you're just not being true to the lifestyle. We're not living in the Stone Age, okay? Like, innovation is good. Making things easier is good. We've done it throughout our entire existence on Earth as a human race. Why would we stop now?
Patty said, in Portland, reminder for anyone, it applies to more than just homesteaders.
It does. And I mean, really, when you get to that point where you're just burnt out or you're frustrated, I found like it affected me at work. It's affected how I interact with Mark or my daughter, or even like having an unruly doe on the milk stand where I'm like, you can just feel your temper flaring because you're like, I want to get this done because I need to move on to the next thing. And it's like, you're losing sight of why you started this. You're losing sight of what is enjoyable about the lifestyle, or what at one point was self-care. And once you kind of like realize that mentally, I feel like you allow it to go back to what it is, which is a wholesome lifestyle that can definitely bring a lot more joy than it does heartache. Hello, Adrian.
Emma said, thanks for sharing that. We should be talking about it because it's real and it's okay.
Yeah, it is okay. And I just feel bad because I see a lot of people talking about burnout, and I would say like what we're going through right now, or I don't know, are you feeling it too?
No.
Like, I would say like I'm going through a burnout period. I'm still putting things out there, but like I'm really having to make a very conscious effort, where before it's like, oh, I love doing this. And right now I'm like, I don't have time for this because real life, not that like this isn't real life. I enjoy sharing real life with people. I enjoy someone being able to click on a video from us on this platform and to be transported to our farm, like on its best days, on its boring days and on its worst days, because some of the stuff that happens, like, you wouldn't understand what it does to a person unless you can see and feel it. And this is a platform where you can allow someone to see and feel what you're going through in your life. And right now, with how some people are still in lockdowns or are still going through that feeling of loneliness and isolation, this is a good way to help people through that, is to invite them through, like, to your farm. Like, yeah, let's go milk the goats today. Let's go look at the baby goats play. Like, where things they wouldn't be able to do naturally right now, they can, and it can immensely help them. And sometimes that's really the only thing that keeps me going doing it, outside of, I want Joe to be able to look back and be like, man, my mom was so dumb. And she was stupid on YouTube, but she enjoyed it,
Yeah.
To be able to look back at 4-H or anything that we did and say, yeah, I was there. Now I remember it,
Yep. Patty said they don't have to say it to your face. They used to work on phones and customer service, so I totally get that.
Yeah.
That's true.
Yeah, this is super true. That is super true.
Darren said, hey, Kat, we were thinking of a little vacation spot on our homestead after you mentioned it the other night.
Ooh.
That'd be nice.
Like an Airbnb type deal?
That'd be cool.
You could do that with all those little shelters like that survival class did for you. Someone really wants. We actually have a friend that kind of does that, where she has nice property, but it's like primitive camping, and she just lets them come in on the weekends, and she makes a nice little bit of money from it, and she really enjoys hosting people. She's a really nice lady.
I said, work smarter, not harder, dude.
I know we're regressing as a society when it comes to that, but that's okay.
Where to begin said, oh my, I love water heaters.
Yes, they are life changing.
Totally agree.
Yes. Nobody knows the perils of livestock husbandry until they've carried buckets and buckets of water and feet worth of snow. It's terrible.
Chris Clovercraft said, the reason that people choose this lifestyle isn't necessarily work hard and take care of animals, grow food. It's to reap the benefits of those things and avoid the way they come from.
Yeah. I totally agree with you there. 100%. Yep. 100%.
Spot on. Darren said, I love getting back to old ways, but I still have a new John Deere tractor.
Balance. Like, right? We know that there has to be balance. And I like feeling connected to my food, and I like feeling connected to the earth. And I know that sounds probably super duper hippie-ish, but like, my mom was a bra burning hippie in the 70s. So like, it's in my blood to kind of be that way. But I feel a connection to the land and the lifestyle that we have. And I feel an appreciation for the tomato that grew, even though I don't like tomatoes. But I feel an appreciation because, like, I was a part of the process. I didn't just walk into a grocery store and be like, oh, look, packaged steak, and here's some, bananas and things like this. Like, I understand the amount of work and effort and care that goes into those products being produced.
Yeah. Chris Clovercraft said, mass production innovation makes having the good life easier.
It is. Yeah. 100%.
Haas said, biggest self-care lesson I've learned this year, if you're ready to rip everyone's head off, eat something. If you think everyone hates you, take a nap. My life is much more positive since learning that.
Yeah.
There you go.
I need to exercise the nap one because I have no problem eating my feelings away.
Chris Clovercraft said, I'm not saying we shouldn't enjoy the process, but we don't have to suffer.
No, 100%. 100%. We're looking at a milker because these are not going to hold up to Nigerian dwarf teats. They're just not. They're not going to do it. So I'm looking for a good milker right now.
Yeah. Hattie said, snacks and naps. I like that.
Snacks and naps. Yeah. Snacks. That could be like a rap song. That. It's all right, Adrian. It's okay. I was talking about self-care versus self-sufficiency, and that the two are related, and that we have to make sure that we don't let one overtake the other.
Yeah. Chris's Clevercraft said, and I have a lot of respect for all you guys who have many animals, and I have a hard time keeping up with gardening, building, taking care of my son, dogs, and chickens with the little working. Yeah.
It's tough. It really is a balancing act. And I think, but see, like that was comparison. And that isn't me like throwing it at you, but like we do it all the time where it's like, man, I really feel for the people that have animals because like I'm not even there, but I still find, hey, your balancing act is your balancing act. And as long as you can find peace in it and you can find a routine that works for you and a pace that works for you, that is all you do you, and don't worry about what someone else does on their farm. I'm very, you can ask him, I am very guilty of comparison stealing joy. It is a thief of my joy often, and I really try not to do it, but I I think just by personality and self-esteem wise, where I am, like I compare all the time.
Yep.
It's not good for me.
Darren said yes, thinking like an Airbnb, stay away from the city, etc., and spend a week or weekend with Highland cows.
See, like who wouldn't want to spend a week with
awesome.
a hairy coo?
Yep.
We went to go get our new buck and we passed hairy coos. And I'm like, Mark, look.
Yeah.
He was like all focused on the road, and I just started screaming. He was like, "You can't just start screaming when I'm driving."
Yeah.
It's like I thought something was happening. I'm like, "Oh, something was happening." We were passing hairy coos.
Yeah. Adrian said there are many ways to homestead. Not everyone needs all those animals, and like Ash is saying, the limit is different for everyone.
It is, and knowing your limit, I'm discovering my limit. I'm discovering my limit, and I've surpassed my limit. So we were talking because with the dairy goats, I love all of my goats, but with the route that I'm slowly starting to switch to, which is a performance and production herd, I can't keep everybody. I just can't. And there will be a point in our lives where I will just keep what do we call them earlier? Junk animals.
Yeah.
It's an inside story. I was very insulted this weekend. But I'm going to be participating in some linear appraisals for our goats, which is where we take them and we have them appraised by people that are paid to do that, to say this is the good qualities in your animals, here's where they're not good, and from there use that as a tool to learn, like for a breeding stock or where we're wanting to go with milk production, who stays and who goes, because we're at that limit. So I love them all equally, but some of them can easily go to another family where they want a small goat that's a family milker. And I know now that I've stand trained all of these girls, they'll go to a home and be a fantastic milker for somebody, easy kidders, everything. And I can feel good about that, but I also need to focus on where I'm going with my herd.
Mm-hmm.
Mark says, I had to hear about this night and day for like 2 weeks. It's probably like, oh my God, shut up.
And he said, do what you do well and grow from there. It's better than trying to do all and ending up burnout.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
Burnout does not feel good because it affects, you think just being burnout on YouTube would just be for YouTube, but it's not. It's a burnout across the board.
Yeah.
Like across the board. I've found myself apologizing to people at work because I'm like, I know I'm usually chipper, but I just can't. And it's not because I dislike you. It's just I am so extremely busy all the time that my body is reaching a point of exhaustion that I rarely get to, which means like my brain shuts down through some conversations. Yeah. I'm like, I can't engage right now.
Where to begin said, I'm discovering my limit is less now than it used to be.
And that's okay though, because like our limits change as we grow, or as we realize that we can't do what we used to be able to do. I feel like that right now when it comes to like strength or endurance or anything, where I'm like, I used to be able to throw hay bales all day long and not feel it. Now I'm like 10 minutes and I'm like, I can't do this.
Adrian said, I found my limit. I am at my limit. I did offer to take care of a couple hero for a friend, but that wouldn't be much more to add. But she said she didn't want to do that. But my 2 donks, 20 chickens, 15 quail,
2 rabbits.
It's continued, 2 rabbits, honeybees, and a cat is my limit.
Hey, like you said, everybody's limit's going to be different.
I am really bad at feeding my pond fish too.
Hey, at least you admit that you have shortcomings. Yep. Some people don't even want to do that. They'll like hide their limits or their shortcomings, and then it's really off-putting, or it's like a form of deception for other people because they're like, oh, we've got it all together, and like, no, deep down inside, like right under the surface of social media and the pictures and things they're sharing, they don't got it together.
Patty said, know your abilities and what talents you have and what you need help with. There's no sin in needing help, be it people or machinery.
Yeah, 100%.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm bad at asking for help.
Patty said, you have nothing left to give anyone or anything in burn.
Yeah, it's totally true. It is totally 100% true. Hero equals sheep. Okay. I was wondering. I was like, I thought maybe you said like herd, and I'm like maybe herd of something. So sheep are cool.
There you go.
Old Redding, I don't know what you're saying there, buddy.
That's code for something. I think they're suffering burnout a little bit.
Oh God.
Adrian said, Emma, my pond is teeny. Patty said, right now my 30-year-old self is fighting with my 65-year-old self. at what I can do.
Yeah. Who's winning?
Yeah.
That's what I want to know. Who's winning?
Matters what day. Let's see. Chris Clevercraft says another thing is that we are programmed to want more. We can pass our limit easily. Then we have to look at it and realize we passed it back there.
Isn't that the truth though? Because like as society, we are driven like, hey, the more, you know, like you're judged and your social status is dependent on the things and the material things that you have. Whereas like on our homestead or our farm or whatever you want to call it, I feel like our material gains are great, but like my emotional and mental gains from it are greater. I just know like we're hitting a limit.
Mm-hmm.
We're hitting a pretty hard limit. Like my chicken population is out of control. Chicken math is well at work here, so I've got a lot of things where I need to start addressing populations here, which sucks. I hate doing that.
Darren said our Basset Hound is pushing our limits. LOL, not the cows, pigs, chickens, rabbits, etc.
Just the hound dog. Is he just running off and being a hound dog, Darren? Is that why he's pushing your limits, or is he being like our dog and like bringing in moles every day, 2 or 3 of them sometimes, and digging through your yard?
Let's see. Adrian said, "But I got a roll. I pooped after doing a split today, and got to go celebrate with Dan after the job offer."
Yay!
That's awesome.
Congrats to Dan. I can't wait. I hope you videoed the split because I want to do a split, and I would love to see how you did yours.
Mm-hmm.
Have fun celebrating and resting. I hope you get all your energy back because I know beekeeping is tough. Tough. But now that I'm done being kind of crazy with my emotional banter about self-reliance and self-care, self-sufficiency and self-care, what's going on in your guys' world? What do you have planned for this weekend? I want to know what you're doing this weekend. What we are doing, we don't know what we're doing.
Patty said, "Looks like the chickens have their own math going on there too."
Yeah, they do. They do. Yeah. And then when one goes broody, I'm like, oh, well, you want to be a mommy so you can be a mommy. And in the back of my head, I'm like, Ashley, no, she cannot.
Porter Bean says, our dogs too, and the pit bull was out. Then Dash dogs got out earlier. Oh, man.
That's never good. Bye.
Yeah. Yeah. More splits tomorrow.
I'm super happy for Dan. Oh, my goodness. Many hives.
Yeah.
Many hives.
Emma said, maybe my gymnastics brain was on because I read that Adrian did a literal split.
She's just out like in her barnyard, just like, wow. I never could do the splits, Emma. Never. I don't know. I'm not elastic at all.
Ashley said, finish up this buck pen. They've escaped 2 more times.
In with the girls? Tell me not in with the girls. Ashley. But where there's a will, there's a way. They're really... I hope they didn't get in with the girls again. Ashley, for those of you that don't know, that's actually my sister-in-law, his sister. So her bucks, right before vacation, broke into her doe pen while she was gone. And then they came back and they were just laying there in the corner all smug and happy with themselves and worn out. So I guess we can all guess what happened in her barn. But it's never the way you want it to happen. Just like, I needed you to wait a couple more months.
Yeah. She said, yes, one more with the ladies. Darren said, yep, we had our projects under control, but now we're trying to fence in a few acres of property so the hound stays.
Yeah. I saw where you had pictures of that log fencing.
That was cool.
Really cool. Really pretty.
Yep.
Really
blends
pretty.
in well with the forest.
It really
too.
does, like for your whole aesthetic. And I know like it serves a purpose, but I'm always like, oh, but it's pretty too. And it is very pretty.
Let's see, Patty said I may be having a plant and garden junk sale here, maybe.
Might need to have to. I'm telling you, when I might have an open house where I'm like, come buy a goat and you get 2 or 3 chickens. You know, I'll start starter pack for your farm.
Emma said my youngest was a gymnast, so that's where my brain goes, and I don't have bees
yet.
Yeah.
Right? You want to get bees, don't you? It's fun. Super fun, unless they sting you in the face. Then it's not so fun. Then you learn to be a little gun shy. I just think it's those genetics, honestly, because the same hive where I got my substantial sting was the same one that like stung me a lot last year in the fall, because I was used to the nice calm hive that let me go in with bare hands and no veil, and then in the fall they were like, we're going to murder you. So it happens. Yep.
Ashley said, also think of making a longer garden box 8x4, so it's always plant so many cucumbers and they're overflowing your curtain boxes.
You should.
Yeah, it's not a bad idea.
You totally should. And who can have enough cucumbers in the summertime?
Yeah, we
they're
were
so
looking
good
at
with salt.
how to build different styles of garden boxes, and I think they said up to almost 8'4". You might want to look at like a center divider because of the weight of the dirt can push stuff.
Bending it out.
Yeah. So
I feel like the higher you get, if you make
plus the fact we want them taller. So.
Yeah, because at least I plan to be on our property for the rest of our lives unless something miraculous or life-changing happens, which like that could always happen. Nothing is outside of the impossible here. What?
No, I'm just looking. Emma said, "I want the bees." Matt doesn't want the bees. We're in an impasse.
Is there anything you can barter with? It's like, if you let me have bees, you can do this. Sometimes that's... I feel like he's going to be like, no, because you always get your way and I never can.
Yeah, that's true.
You think that's true?
Yes.
Oh, happy life.
Darren says, thanks, guys. Trying to make stuff look good and functional.
It did. It looked very
awesome.
nice.
Yeah.
Looks very, very, very nice.
Emma said, recommend them. All mine are 4x8 and they're perfect.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think that's the size we're going to go with on the side.
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah. I mean, we're going to... I get so stressed
Annie
about
said she had a 12x4. It was the best size I had to garden in. Easy on the math for fertilizing too. Had 4 beds that size.
See, like that's... I don't know. I'm torn between the 8x4 and the 12x4. We want them tall though, so then that means we'll probably be using hugelkultur just so that we save on dirt. Because I know, Emma, you do hugelkultur beds, don't you? If I remember correctly. Says how? So Margie says, "How's? I have a really cute clip coming of Dilly.
Yeah.
It was like so stinking cute. I would tell you, but I want you to be surprised.
Yeah.
I think it's coming out in the next. I think it's coming out in the next video, which will either be about Friday or Monday. I'm shooting for Friday to try to make sure that I'm sticking to my days, but it might be Monday. But it was super cute. It was super cute. I couldn't believe what I was seeing because, you know, Dilly I know is your favorite, but she can be pretty hateful sometimes. She can be so hateful. And she was being like the cutest, sweetest goat, where I'm like, oh, Dilly, I love you so much.
Isaac's here tonight.
Hi, Isaac. How are you?
Emma said, haha, I'm going to try bartering. He wants a power hammer, but those things cost a few thousand, so I don't know. He's also our budget nerd, and we get a kid starting college in the fall. Yeah, definitely. Yeah. She said, Jeff, so yeah, I grow hugelkultur
raised beds.
Did I say that right?
Hugelkultur.
Yeah.
Did I say hugel or hugel? Correct me, help me. Hooked on phonics for Ashley.
Ashley said ours are 4x4 now, but they were here when we moved in and are falling apart.
Yeah. Well, see, then there's your perfect excuse to upgrade to when they're falling apart. I'm like, well, it wouldn't hurt to make it.
Watch out, it's going to cost like $5,000 a box right now.
Maybe you can find like recycled lumber somewhere, like old barn wood or something, which that's also expensive. How many people
are going to just start stealing like wood from?
Probably a lot of people. I was talking to. I work, so some of you that don't know, like I work at a university and I work at the physical facilities department. I was talking to somebody who, like on the side is a carpenter, and he was just like, he was really angry about the lumber prices. He was cussing up the store. I'm like, you gotta keep it down, dude. Can't be using that language out here. Like the big wigs are right down there. Yep. Bring it down. He was really riled about wood prices.
Margie said, awesome. She is
pretty fantastic. She is so good with little bitty babies too.
Patty said, I like having mine 12 to 18 inches deep. My 2-foot beds are too tall, really.
So, does anybody make it where they've got like a little, like a board on the top where they could kind of sit on? Because I would like to be super lazy and sit and do my gardening. Because like right now mine are really low to the ground, so like I'm constantly bent over, which isn't a big deal. I just have to just stand up and stretch everything out. But
yeah. Cody here.
Hello, Cody. We are doing fantastic.
Yep.
How about you? And then Josh is here from Homestead Overland.
Yep.
What the what? What's up? What's up? What's up? Not much.
Chris's Clever Craft said I made 2 in-ground hugelkultur beds, and this year indoor raised beds.
Wow. There you go. Well, some of our beds, like how tall are they? The raised beds, are they like 12?
Just under 12.
Just under 12. We were thinking like a lot of them were made like identical sizes, and we probably just like stack them up. and then reinforce like with middle braces and all kinds of brackets and things like that.
Isaac said, "I'm good. Just turned 13 on Saturday."
Oh, Isaac, don't you be one of those teenagers.
Getting in trouble.
Yeah, I saw your birthday on Facebook. I told your mom to tell you happy birthday. That's super cool though. Only 3 years from driving, Isaac. That's super scary.
Darren said most of our raised beds are around 4x8, but the problem is none of the bug nets, etc., fit. As they are designed more for market garden size.
That makes sense.
Yep.
Google culture.
Google culture. There we go.
So we're getting ready to have the 17-year cicadas here. I think that's countrywide, isn't it? Or is it just here?
Mm-hmm.
Is that everywhere? I am sheltered and not cultured, so I don't know. But I know like a lot of people here, I've started noticing a lot of nets are starting to pop up like on smaller trees because cicadas will do mass damage laying their eggs in those smaller sapling trees. I actually have a peach tree where I'm like, do I need to cover you up or do I let nature take its course and you'll be stronger for it? So
yeah. Patty said find old metal roofing and frame it in with the wood. That'll last forever.
This is true.
Yeah.
This is true.
Definitely. Ashley said we definitely need them deeper. They're all 4 inches deep.
Oh, Lord have mercy. Yeah, we need to make yours deeper.
Patty said mine are like that, but it's a little bit too tall to really sit on properly. 18 inches would be good for having the ledges
on it. Yeah.
That makes sense.
Yeah, because you don't want to like be sitting up like on.
Yeah.
Where your feet are like dangling, you're just like kind of kicking them. That wouldn't work out very well.
Isaac said our raised beds are like 3.5 feet tall.
Mm-hmm.
Man, those are.
You don't have to bend over at all for them. That's crazy.
Emma said, I don't have ledges on my beds. I used 2x12s by 8s. I can sit on them if you can.
Yeah.
Yeah, we've seen a couple different heights, but
yeah.
And
18, it might be one of those where we do 18 and like try it out and like figure I'm sorry guys.
2x10s.
Yeah, and see if that works for us, and then go from there and see what we're gonna do. But I also would like to have like random raised beds, like old water troughs, and make them out of things that you wouldn't, not like tires. I don't understand why people grow food in tires.
We like the water trough style too, but they're so expensive.
They are expensive. I'm just hoping maybe I can befriend people that their troughs like suck and they like just want to bring them to me. I'll be like, I'll give you $50 for that trough.
The Haas said, put a diving board on wheels and raise it a few feet, then just lay down over your garden to work.
I like
it. Could be like a reverse mechanic crawler.
I gotta say, Haas, you're a man made after my own heart, because that would be fantastic.
That would be. Imagine neighbors looking across there.
That's hilarious.
Darren said we did one that is 2x20 with a board down the center. Is our pea/snow pea garden or bed? Yeah,
that's cool. 2x20. Wow.
Josh said no raised beds here. We're determined to have 80-year-old backs by 2040. That will do it.
I was telling Mark though about your no-till gardens and then using that landscape fabric like over top of it. How, without me being like super invasive, and I know that like I need to quit saying the word like, it's driving me nuts. And I know that prices can vary from region to region, but how much does that cost you? Or how much did it if it's being reused or anything? Because we're probably going to switch our in-ground garden over into the goat pen, being 100% secure and sectioned off from them. But I would really like to not utilize a tiller and to do a no-till method and then to do the landscape fabric over the top of it to control weeds.
Mm-hmm.
But Mark's biggest thing was like, well, how much is that going to cost? And I couldn't tell him. So I'm hoping it's not too much, Josh.
Chris's Clever Craft said, so they start in ground and then come up into raised beds. I should go over and see Emma's.
You should.
Yep. Let's see. Patty said not out west. Let's see. Who else is in here? Let's see. Chris's Clever Craft said they were nice. And Ashley said, I have one that's a half water heater for my berries. I've never seen that one.
Yeah, that's cool.
It turned out
really well. Have I seen that?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, that looked when they got done.
Did. Yeah, that's right. We did.
Mm-hmm.
I'm forgetful. I can't keep
Darren said we were thinking this fall we will tear our raised beds out and do more market garden style to use more of the space.
Yeah. Yeah, there's definitely pros and cons to all the different types of gardening that you can do. I told Mark, and I guess it just depends on like how hard it is to get like a nursery license, but we're planning for a greenhouse. I guess if construction prices ever go down, ever, then we would really like to have a greenhouse or two. And I would love to do like a nursery style where we would do farmers markets, or we would invite people here to pick out seedlings or things like that. Because I enjoy growing. But then, have you guys ever started so many seeds where you're like, I can't put all of them in the garden, and you feel like crap just like not planting them? I usually end up giving them away, but then I started thinking like I like doing it up. If I wanted to actually sell them, that would be some return on the farm. And right now, any return I can get on the farm is good.
It's always in the red.
Yeah, it's always in the right direction to make an extra buck.
Let's see. Cody said, I built an elevated bed. It's a 4x8, 12 inches deep, but is about 3 feet off the ground.
Wow. Man, some of you guys got some tall beds.
Mm-hmm.
Cody, do a garden tour video.
Yeah.
So we can see.
That costs way too much to build, and that was before lumber went up.
Yeah, I'm telling you what, it's ridiculous. I told Mark, I'm like, I figures here we have like some really big goals to do things, and then like everything just bottoms out or goes sky high. I'm like, this is great.
Darren said, hey, don't be pooping on my tires. We grow some tomatoes and tires.
You do you. I'm just always worried about the grade of rubber and any toxicity that comes off of them. But hey, if you've grown out of them and you've eaten them and you haven't grown like a third eye or like fingers out of your back, then it's probably okay.
Josh said, yeah, no biggie. We can get a wholesale roll of it, 15 by 300 feet for around $225. And we can also drop ship it to you. Yeah.
Mark's like, okay, calm down.
Darren said that would be good, Josh. Move some closer to the house and stack them.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Where to begin? Said we did landscape fabric over our potatoes this year. Got a roll of it, 400 feet in the zone for way less than $100.
Really?
Wow, that's not a bad deal.
It's really not bad.
Yeah.
It's looking more and more. The more I hear from you guys, the more driven I am.
Needs money like everything else.
I know. And I drain like my farm account. So like usually every year I have what we call a farm account, which like technically we should just put it in the bank. But anything that I make off goats or anything here, like I usually keep that money on hand so that I can in turn use it for hay or purchase new herd sires or whatever we need on the farm. Like the one year I think between Scrimshaw and the farm fund, I paid for most of the loft. Like the boards that went up in it, we were able to pay for it through. We would not be able to do that now with the prices of lumber, but I'm happy to say like we do try to hold some money back from the farm to go back into it, because I feel like sometimes if I put it into, I don't know, it's like when money goes into our savings or checkings account, like I don't want to touch it. I know it probably doesn't feel that way, does it? You're like, no, you like to spend money, dear. But I feel like I'd be less inclined to spend it on the farm if it went into an account. So I usually try to keep it on hand. But anybody else do anything like that where you're just kind of like, yeah, we have a specific fund, or I have a specific piggy bank in the house where it's specifically for the homestead, or it just kind of cycles back into itself? Yeah.
Josh said, no, fabric is created equal. Keep that in mind.
Yeah, this is true.
Okay, said, what kind of fabric do you like? We are using the polypropylene fabric, which from Grower Solution for the first time this year. I'm hoping it works. Darren said, I said throw stuff in the tires.
Clarification is everything.
Yeah, don't harvest in tires.
Yeah, there was one person who's like, I don't know, they just taste funny. I'm like, well, it might be because you grew it in a tire and you're harvesting it to eat.
Yeah.
I mean, that's like using the railroad ties with what is that, creosote that's on there?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and it's really not great for soils and stuff, but it is what it is. You sometimes you just have to use what you have readily at hand.
Yep. Josh said we have a 7% UV, which will last about 7 to 10 years. A lot of the stuff out there is only around 2 UV rated, only lasts a couple seasons.
That makes sense. That makes sense. So it is one of those things where you get what you pay for.
Where to begin? So all veggie selling money goes back to the seeds and growing more vegetables.
Do you ever glean anything off the top of that though? Is there ever any revenue?
I said I got to get out of this place fund here.
Other people would call it like their vacation fund.
Yeah.
We're just like, I need to get the heck out of here.
Emma said, Matt and I each get our own spending money each week. We spend or save it for each of our endeavors.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
That makes a lot of sense. It's just something that, and I wasn't like we meant to do it, but when I was doing scrimshaw more regularly or doing things on the farm that I was actually selling, like we would just like recycle it back in so that it doesn't hit your bank account. Because then I think I can justify what we do to the degree that we do it. If whatever comes off of it goes right back in and kind of helps, where we don't have to use anything from the bank accounts, which we still use things from the bank account. Shush.
Patty said, better to spend a little more money to get the longevity with plastics. Yeah, definitely.
It sounds like it.
And Emma said, my egg sale money goes to cover chicken feed.
Mm-hmm.
And where to begin say, yes, we sell at a local store of veggies.
Oh, very cool.
Let's see. Josh said, I started an insurance agency to pay the farm homestead bills. That's a good idea. Where to begin said, no, veggies, just some. We sell weekly.
Yeah, that makes sense. I know David Outdoors 7-4, he has a bunch of egg-laying hens that he sells to a specific restaurant. And I was wondering, like, what it would take to do that here. We have a couple of local restaurants where I wouldn't be, we don't feed almost any commercial feed at all. Like, it really, right now it's all free range. Now we may have to go back to less free ranging once we get our garden in, because I've already noticed they went over there and they scratched up some of my broccoli starts. Like, chickens, you have 13 acres. Do you have to come over here? Of course they have to come over there. So I don't know. It's just one of those things where I'm trying to figure out, like, if there are other things that we can do to make extra revenue. Like, I know I could be doing goat milk soap. I'm scared to death to make the soap, though. There's something about working with the lye that it scares me to death, that I'm going to make like a lye heavy solution that won't be safe for someone to use, and that I will be too green at making soap to know that it's carrying way too high of a lye solution and could actually be harmful. In which case, like, I would just be like, just grate it up and make it into laundry soap. But I mean, I'd hate to really wait till someone uses it and it's like it burned the snot out of me. Like, well, it's probably high on lye.
Darren said, thought the tires would be good for small spots that contain things, but nothing has done well yet in them to actually harvest.
Yeah, maybe like rose bushes and stuff. If you like planting the pretty stuff. I like planting pretty stuff.
Where to begin said, here in Kentucky it costs $25 per permit to sell eggs at a store.
Which, I mean, if you had enough hens and like you had a good laying season, that would be a drop in the bucket for a feed. What?
Sharon said, I just give all my money to Brigitte. Okay, those are good investments.
I was going to say Mark would be right there along with you. He'd be like, I don't see a problem in that spending habit.
Where to begin said, to sell veggies, it's free range. Let's see. Cody said, we sell our eggs to a local store, got licensed through the state, and that is a very small profit every week after buying feed.
Yeah, but at least it's a little something coming back.
Chris's Clevercraft said, I always think I'm going to sell my stuff, eggs, plants, etc., and I never do. I need to just do it a little bit to get my feet wet.
Yeah. And I think, like, it's hilarious that I'm actually thinking about that when I just had a whole spiel of, like, hey, you need to know your limits. And here I am like, we could do more to make money on the farm.
Darren said we might attempt our own soap this weekend.
Really? I'm super excited. Please film it, because I really want to learn.
Said, just put a warning on the label that says cheaper than a chemical peel out spot. Just try the soap.
I don't know how well that's going to go over us. But hey, at least you warned them, have to make a label. May not be safe for human use. How about candles?
Yeah.
I don't know. Well, with the bees, you could make beeswax. See, that's another thing. So, like, we have the bees, and we will definitely be harvesting honey this year. But then I'm like, that's a whole nother process and endeavor where you can't really sell the honey unless you have the jars or an extractor, or you have the specific supplies to make sure that you can sift the honey to make sure no, like, larvae or wax makes it into those jars of honey.
Okay.
So it's like, I don't know. Like, I see where the old adage where you have to spend money to make money, but I don't like spending money right now. Even though I'm sure, like, the U.S. dollar is probably worth like poop right now, but it's still being used for currency here. at the moment.
Emma said, "I love to get enough duck eggs to sell to our local restaurants. No one's doing duck eggs here."
Oh, see, there you go.
Yeah,
See, mine,
okay.
I'm just letting them all sit on them.
Yeah.
And increasing my population even more. Ducks.
Haas said, "Beeswax candles are awesome. The only reason I want bees right now."
I like having bees, Haas. I love the smell of the hive when you crack it open too.
Mm-hmm.
Like there's just, and it's warm. It's really warm. I didn't realize that because last year when we first got our hives around this time of year, like when I first cracked them open 2 weeks ago and I put my hand down into the hive, it was so warm. I'm like, no wonder you guys overwinter and everything. It's just crazy, the smells and how warm it is.
Yeah. Let's see.
Mark's like, yeah, until they sting you in the face.
Cody says, "I buy natural soaps already, so I'll be a test dummy for your soap."
Okay.
There
I
we
will
go.
send some to you and be like, Cody, I don't want to hear any complaining if this takes off the first layer of your skin.
Chris is Glover. "That's awesome paper, which I've been thinking about doing."
Mm-hmm.
And then Darren said, "Soap is on the project list, but containing the Basset Hound take up to 6 hours come first." Yep.
That
Definitely.
Basset Hound of yours, he keeps you on your toes, huh?
Let's see. Chris's Clever Craft. "Boy, the juice to the squeeze with spending money to make money." Yep.
Yeah.
That's true.
It's true. It's so true. But on like a not homesteading note, I had an interview today. It was actually my second interview for that position. I have another interview somewhere else tomorrow. Just so you guys get to see like a little bit into our life, like outside of goats and bees and gardening. But like I've been really unhappy with my job for a long time. Well, since January. The whole getting demoted type deal because of seniority kind of rubbed me the wrong way, and our manager is just not a manager. I've learned that if he's going to come into the office and tell you to do something a specific way, you almost have to voice record him, because then he go back and tell someone something completely different, and then you're both stuck trying to figure out who is right. And it really sucks. But I've been making attempts to move into other jobs.
Mm-hmm.
But the only reason I'm trying to stick with the university is for the free college tuition for Joe. And if I stay there past October, he can go back to school for free.
Mm-hmm.
So it'd be nice.
Yeah. Emma said, "Haha, I don't have any drakes. My girls just lay delicious unfertilized eggs."
See, mine turn into cute little fluffy quackers. So I'm like,
I was going to stay in the education area.
I would like to. I have yes and no. It kind of depends on the department that I land in. So the department that I've been interviewing for is for advancement and stewardship. So it's a lot of like the fundraising and the alumni association for our university, which kind of like on one end it sucks because like the whole mission of that department is to gain funds and to fundraise and ask for donations and to turn people that don't want to make donations into volunteers at events because they're alumni. That's outside of my wheelhouse, but I wouldn't be the one doing that. I would be more of a supporting person. So it would be like seeing the university from a different perspective. And I feel like at this point to stay involved and to feel positive about it, I need a different perspective than where I'm currently at. But I have an interview at a financial, how would you call that? Like a financial firm type deal tomorrow. And then I've had multiple back in the insurance realm. It's just there's a lot of things hiring, but a lot of things that I'm going for too, like in the insurance realm, are remote, and that's fantastic. But then you also have to think when things go remote, you are competing against the entire country. You're not competing in just specific people in that area. You're competing against people all over the country with many different skill sets. And 9 times out of 10, there's always going to be someone better than you also interviewing for that position. So it's been a little crazy. But it's been good for me too.
Yeah.
Good to practice interviewing skills. I'm sorry, I feel like I'm beating you to death until I'm really tired.
A little bit. Yeah. Emma said, "If you're willing to move to Missouri, we're hiring like crazy right now."
Emma, don't tempt me.
Patty said, "I remember that move. That was back when I found you guys, Ashley."
Yeah.
And Haas said, "You should be counselor."
Chancellor, Ashley.
Yeah.
I rule with an iron fist. That's okay. I wouldn't really rule with an iron fist.
Karen said, "Okay, guys, I think it's hot tub time. Hope you have
we will be joining you. Now I'll be at a game, so I'll probably like have a headphone in and being on the mobile, but we will definitely be tuning into your live tomorrow. And that's at 8:30, right? Eastern Standard Time. So guys, if you're not doing anything tomorrow, Thursday, at 8:30 Eastern Standard Time, then you need to go over to Thor Haven's live and get in there and interact. So, yeah.
Chris's Clevercraft head now.
Yeah, gotta go to bed. Bye, Cody. Bye, Chris's Clevercraft. Nice to see you guys in here.
Where to begin? So we have a duck. Our daughter went for quail chicks and came back with a duck. LOL. What am I going to do with the duck? That's funny.
Give it a pond and let it be happy. I don't know, or eat it. I don't know if your daughter would let you do that though.
Yeah.
That's crazy. Night, Josh. Thanks for popping in. I appreciate
good luck
seeing
with the
you.
Interview.
Thank you.
Good deal.
Remote insurance brokers. Ooh. Josh, I may be instant messaging you.
Where to begin said, I didn't know you had a live. We'll be there.
Yeah, they do. They definitely have a live.
Yeah.
But I think I'm actually going to cut this off because I still have another doe that looks like she could possibly go in the next 24 hours. She might not. She's a first timer. I have to put up all the animals. It's trash night. We forgot to take out the trash already to the road, which is like a little bit of a walk. So we're going to go ahead and wrap it up tonight. I really appreciate you guys being here with us, sitting through my emotional spiel about self-care versus self-sufficiency and some of the things that we need to do to kind of keep that balance, which I'm probably more so preaching to myself than anybody because that's where I'm at. Hi, Joe. But we will be here again, barring all disaster, ball games, and everything else. Again, next Wednesday at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So if you guys aren't doing anything, make sure that you come back and you join us. But until next time, guys, I hope you guys have a great week, and we'll see you later.
Good night.
Bye, guys.